I was born with a divine breeding body, everything I raise ends up pregnant. The pearl chickens that were once a rarity in our sect now roam the hills in massive numbers because of me. Even the Supreme Elder's pets and familiars went from being endangered to being owned by every single disciple. The only one who gives me trouble is a white cat. I fed him countless fertility tonics, but his belly hasn't shown the slightest sign of a pregnancy. Left with no choice, I set up a pot and boiled some water. Suddenly, he leaped out of the pot with a start. Xinuran. Did you never consider the possibility that I'm male? My family lives in a village at the foot of Mount Jingyue. Ever since I was born, the family chickens haven't stopped laying eggs for 10 years. The old cow is constantly pregnant with calves, and even the old tortoise my grandfather keeps started nesting. If I even visited a neighbor during a celebration, a chubby baby would be born into their household the following year. The entire village became overcrowded with people and livestock. The old village head mysteriously raised a finger, full of conflicting emotions. A tall tree attracts the wind, and wealth attracts thieves. My girl, you must never tell outsiders about this talent of yours. When an elder from the Jingyue sect passed through, he said that although I had no spiritual roots, I possessed an extraordinary talent. His implication was that he wanted to take me into the sect to cultivate. Upon hearing this, my parents began to wail and weep. They were afraid I would be harmed if I went away. The village head waved them off. Are you fools? Being chosen by an immortal is the girl's destiny. If someone were to bully her while she's with the immortals, could that person even be called human? They'd be worse than the wild boars eating grass in the field. Only after reaching the mountain did I realize that Elder Mu had the best temper in the entire Jingyue sect, and perhaps the entire cultivation world. Had it been anyone else, the grass on the village head's grave would be taller than me by now. After arriving at Jingyue sect, I was placed in the spirit beast garden. There were just a few scattered chickens and sheep in the garden, and a couple of beast fish in the pond. From that day on, I became the handyman of Jingyue sect. My cries were thunderous and loud. So, when Elder Mu was about to leave, he gave me a megaphone. I won't be available tomorrow. If there's anything you want, just cry it out. I thought the elder meant that the megaphone would magically manifest things. Unexpectedly, right after I finished crying once, a large crowd gathered at the garden gate. So this is Xinuran, the girl Elder Mu brought back? She looks quite ordinary, but her voice is certainly powerful. Good child, just tell us what's on your mind. If you lack anything, just say it directly. Don't cry anymore. I counted on my fingers as I spoke. I asked for a house, food, and snacks. In just half a day, my garden had been transformed into something beautiful. Before leaving, a beautiful senior sister tossed a white cat to me. Xinuran. This is a fat cat I picked up on the road. Keep it to accompany you. I wonder if what the elder said is true. Can you really make our sect's livestock flourish? 10 years later, the entire sect had grown wealthy. Spirit birds were everywhere. The fish in the garden pond were so fat they could barely swim. My senior brothers and sisters were all becoming quite plump. The whole garden was overflowing with life, except for the cat in my arms. Despite how much I fed him over the last 10 years, he never put on any weight. No wonder my neighbor, old Zhang, used to say, raising a picky eater is like paying for sins from a past life. After my birthday, it was time for me to head down the mountain for trial. Elder Mu said with great concern, there are many wolves, tigers, and leopards outside the sect. And you have no spiritual roots. Sigh, very well. Take this wooden sword of mine. It contains a manifestation of my spirit. It should be enough to protect you. The world is currently in chaos. Even the white tiger ancestor, the sect's guardian beast, has been missing for a long time. Remember, if you can solve it with money, don't waste your strength. The senior brothers and sisters all stood in a line, each with a reluctant expression on their face. On the day I went down the mountain, they gave me dozens of boxes. I had storage pouches hanging all around my waist. I even had a string of storage rings around my neck. There were even spatial stones tied to my ankles. And I carried the cat on my shoulder. After descending the mountain, I first returned to my village. My parents were still affectionate toward me, though they seemed a bit more formal. I left behind some health-boosting pills and some spirit beasts. Before heading off again, I actually had 2 longevity pills, but I didn't give them to them. I felt that living too long isn't necessarily a good thing, especially since there weren't enough pills for my brothers, sisters-in-law, and my little nephews. The old village head was waiting for me at the entrance. The immortal world is vast and harsh. Girl, there's no need to be sad. Seeing that the village head hadn't aged at all in 10 years, I pulled out a longevity pill. Village head, did you secretly buy a beauty pill? It's fine, I understand. I have one here as well. You should take it and have it. They say the village head was already there when my father was born. He has no family left either. Giving him the longevity pill felt right. The village head wanted to say something else, but the cat on my shoulder suddenly hissed. Its fur stood on end as it bared its teeth at the village head. Haha. It's nothing, it's nothing. I was just saying that it might rain soon. Girl, if the wind and rain are too strong out there, you can always come back to the village for shelter. After bidding farewell to the village head, I reached my first stop, the Genius X Mountain office. The manager of the office was lying on the ground, bruised and swollen. I went over to check on him, and found him looking at a roster, carefully picking a new successor. My sudden appearance gave him a fright. Senior sister, you've arrived. Those brutes from the Spirit Beast sect are completely unreasonable. They demanded a cloud crimson bee. That species has been extinct for years. Where would we find one? Only then did I notice 4 or 5 arrogant disciples from the Spirit Beast sect standing across from us. I said nothing. Does Genius sect really employ such trash? She doesn't even have a spiritual root, yet she's out on a trial? I'm surprised she wasn't carried back the moment she left the gate. She looks so weak. Is that just a house cat on her shoulder? This is hilarious. Ha ha ha. Didn't they say Genius sect had been breeding rare beasts endlessly over the past few years? They even claimed to be rivaling our Spirit Beast sect. Looks like it was all just boasting. Ha ha ha. I didn't say a word. Senior brother Chu always told me, don't waste time on useless arguments. If you can win, fight. If you can't, call for backup. If backup can't win, activate the mountain defense array. If the array can't hold, then run. I took a small gourd from my waist and pulled out the stopper. Is this what you wanted? Tens of thousands of cloud crimson bees poured out of the gourd, like a dam had just burst. In an instant, they completely surrounded the group. Ah, how can there be so many cloud crimson bees? Help! Senior sister, please show mercy. We were blind and looked down on you. We were arrogant. Senior sister, spare us. I gave the gourd a shake, and all the bees flew back inside. They left behind a few threats. You've got guts, don't you dare leave. Just you wait. It's just a few bees. I kept my word and waited for them there. A day later, a dozen people arrived, including several who looked to be in their 40s or 50s. It seemed the elders had come. The challenge was set in an open clearing outside the city. In the blink of an eye, they released dozens of beasts, tearing through the air. There was even a shadow leopard among them. I coolly tossed out a dozen storage bags. After only a moment, only that shadow leopard remained standing. What does it matter if you have many treasures? This shadow leopard took our Spirit Beast sect 200 years of painstaking effort to breed. Its loyalty and strength are unparalleled. You're finished. I beckoned to it. Oh? Is that so? Little kitty, do you want to have babies? Its expression changed instantly. It shifted from its fierce battle stance and began wagging its tail. The group of people across from me looked disheveled and humiliated. They left while cursing under their breath. Just you wait. We're going to call for even more reinforcements. We'll use our sect's ancient talismans. We'll make you realize, you girl with no spiritual roots, what kind of power immortals truly possess. Xiaobai jumped off my shoulder and began frantically digging in the dirt, as if he wanted to bury those pieces of garbage. Xiaobai, be careful not to get your paws dirty. You fools from the Spirit Beast sect. I'll be waiting for you right here. Whoever doesn't show up is a coward. After they left, I packed my bags overnight. I left a letter at the office, and then I hurried out of the city under the cover of darkness. Half of my talismans and treasures were already gone. Only a fool would wait for them there. After traveling 50 miles, more than 100 people suddenly appeared in front of me. Some were riding pigs, some were standing on sables, and others were carrying snakes. This was definitely trouble. I yelled out at the top of my lungs. Does anyone want their beasts to have babies? Ha 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 ha. It's useless, you little brat. Before the Spirit Beasts were brought out, the elders sealed their hearing. So you're the one from Genius sect with the divine breeding body? There's no way you're getting away today. I threw out all of my remaining possessions at once. After the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn, I was trapped inside a giant net. Elder Mu's spirit manifestation was useless. It was cut down in a single encounter, and he acted so impressively when he gave it to me. It's all over. I should have focused more on my cultivation. Sigh. If only I had spiritual roots. I could at least cast a cleansing spell on myself before dying, so I could go out clean. Just as I was preparing for the end, the giant net was torn open. Xiaobai gave it a couple of scratches, and a large hole appeared in the net. I looked at the people across from me with disdain. They had already started celebrating. Elder Mu was right. The quality of their net was subpar. Before they could react, Xiaobai suddenly transformed into a massive white tiger. He carried me away at incredible speed. I gripped the fur on his neck, feeling incredibly happy. Xiaobai, so you really are a tiger. After returning to the sect, I became even more diligent. To repay Xiaobai for saving my life, I asked senior brother Lin to help me buy fertility tonics. I spared no expense. I bought anything that would help with pregnancy or nesting. I even slept while holding Xiaobai at night, hoping my innate constitution would influence him. However, he was always so shy and awkward. I would tuck him into my arms, and he would crawl out. I'd tuck him back in, and he'd crawl out again. He only settled down after I gave him a sharp tap on the head. Xiaobai, this is for your own good. Stop resisting. I said this while stuffing spirit pills into his mouth. Lately, he hadn't been eating much. I can understand why. Anyone would lose their appetite if they had to eat 2 buckets of pills a day. I refused to believe it. With my divine breeding body, how can I not help a female tiger get pregnant? Although spirit beasts find it extremely hard to conceive, almost all of them wish to leave behind offspring. I'm sure Xiaobai is no exception. To repay him, I have to give him the best. One day, 3 years later, I was feeding Xiaobai. I had just finished feeding the geese. A large man came stumbling into the garden, practically crawling. I had just fed Xiaobai his last pill. I looked up calmly. Senior brother, what is it? He asked me, trembling. Where are the pills I gave you yesterday? I shrugged. Xiaobai ate them. He ate that whole pile of pills? All of them? Yes, Xiaobai has a big appetite lately. He said the pills yesterday tasted pretty good. Do you have any more? Senior brother slumped to the ground. Although, senior brother has failed you. I brought the wrong pills yesterday. Those were heart-devouring pills. A single one could kill an ordinary cultivator. I rushed to Xiaobai's side. I grabbed him and shook him desperately, shaking and crying at the same time. Xiaobai, who had been foaming at the mouth, stopped instantly. He let out a loud burp, and then nudged his bowl with his paw. Having been together for so many years, I understood his meaning immediately. He was asking me if there were any more. In the end, senior brother Lin compensated me with 10,000 spirit stones, and promised to provide me with free pills for the next 10 years. Senior brother, how can I accept this? I'm not that kind of person. You're making it seem like I'm taking advantage of you. After saying this, I finally put the cap back on the gourd, containing the cloud crimson bees hanging at my waist. How did this lid accidentally come off? A full 100 years passed. Even the Supreme Elder's unique companions were now owned by everyone in the sect. But Xiaobai's belly still showed no sign of movement. I felt completely defeated. So what if people call me the Holy Maiden of Breeding? So what if the spirit stones buried in my garden rival a spirit vein? So what if I become the most beautiful woman in the sect? I still have a failure on my record. Looking at Xiaobai, who was lying there with his smooth fur spread out and completely oblivious, I finally made up my mind. It was time for a proper farewell. I started a fire and boiled some water. I even added some cooling herbs to the pot. Finally, I picked up the sleeping Xiaobai and tossed him into the pot. Xiaobai, I'm sorry. I hope you have many descendants in your next life. Thank you for being with me all these years. Don't blame me for being heartless. This is for your own good. He suddenly woke up with a jolt. He leaped out of the pot, frantically shaking the water off his fur. With his head held high, he actually began to speak in a human voice. Xian Yuan, you fool. In these 100 years, did it never occur to you that I might be a male? I was drenched by the water he shook off. I stood there, dazed. How is that possible? Xiaobai clearly smells so sweet. I've been able to tell males from females since I was a child, whether it's humans or spirit beasts. Males have a certain odor, while females smell sweet. I stared at him intently. After a long time, I finally managed to say, I don't believe you. Unless you let me check. But he wouldn't let me. He even put on clothes. The senior sisters in the sect had made many beautiful little outfits for him, but he had never worn them before. Now, he was wearing more than a dozen layers. My 100 years of dedication had been shattered. I fell into a depression. I spent my days wandering around the sect like a zombie, floating here and there. I'd ask everyone I met, are you male or female? When Elder Mu heard about this after returning from his travels, he immediately grabbed Xiaobai and took him away. This is a psychological illness. We have to cut the Gordian knot. Xiaobai was tied to a cutting board. Elder Mu picked up a knife. I raised some pigs when I was traveling in the mortal world. I'm an expert at castrating them. This tiger shouldn't be much different. Xiaobai bounced up instantly. I finally snapped out of it too, holding Xiaobai and crying for a while. Elder Mu stroked his beard with a look of satisfaction. Isn't this better now? However, Ran girl, you've already taken 3 longevity pills. You were born without spiritual roots, so you only have 20 years of life left. I picked up the knife and swung it right at his head. However, he left behind dozens of spirit manifestations. Girl, if it makes you happy, go ahead and strike me. You have 20 years left. Do whatever you want to do. I became depressed again. I raised a litter of pigs in the sect master's hall. When senior brothers and sisters were dating, I would hang upside down and swing back and forth next to them. In the sect, I placed the personal garments of the only female supreme elder under Elder Mu's pillow. I hung white silk ropes on all the trees in the sect, so I could hang myself at any time. Finally, while I was sitting near the sect master, a young senior brother sent me a letter. Junior sister Xian, I have long admired your reputation. I wonder if we could meet at Crescent Platform tonight? I covered my face, reading it over and over with bashful excitement. After all these years, a sweet romance has finally come my way. Could it be that my luck is finally turning? I went through a room full of clothes, trying on one after another. I even went down the mountain to buy rouge used by mortal women. Only when the moon was high in the sky did I arrive at Crescent Platform. The senior brother was reading a book under the pavilion. I grabbed his somewhat cold hands. Senior brother, have you been waiting long? It's my fault. What smooth hands. As the senior brother was about to speak, I suddenly reached up and covered his mouth. Senior brother, say no more. I'm willing. At my age, there's no time to be hesitant. The senior brother struggled to pull his hand away. I stepped forward and gripped even harder. Senior brother, don't be afraid. I'll be very gentle. He looked at me with a terrified expression. Junior sister, behind you. A roar like a tiger's pierced through the air. Every spirit beast in Jinhua sect became restless. They growled in response to a white tiger that was 10 feet tall and about 30 feet long. He bared his teeth, his claws striking the ground. Even the black rocks that hadn't changed for millions of years were crushed into powder. Xinyuan. In a moment of carelessness, I was actually drugged by you. And it was all just so you could come out and see this pretty boy, senior brother? He pulled his hand away as if his life depended on it. Junior sister Xian, you've misunderstood. I only wanted to ask you about the method for breeding spirit beasts. I was wondering if you could give me a copy of your notes. I looked at my empty hands. A feeling of deep grievance washed over me. Xiaobai, why are you acting so high and mighty? You were supposed to stay with me until the end. You were supposed to stay with me. Why don't you just eat me in one bite? I'm going to die soon anyway. Everyone in the village said I was blessed with incredible luck. What kind of immortal have I become? I'm just a mortal clinging to life for a few more decades, using longevity pills. I'd rather just live a happy life, with my parents. Crescent Platform was built right on the edge of a cliff. The more I thought about it, the more upset I became. I suddenly took a dive toward the bottom of the mountain. The wind whistled in my ears. Right until I was about to hit the ground, Xiaobai still hadn't caught me. Xiaobai, King Tiger, save me. I won't ask you to stay with me anymore, okay? Just as I closed my eyes, preparing for death, a pair of hands suddenly caught me. A cold, low voice whispered, Ran. Stop acting out. I'll stay with you, that's all. It was a man with a striking appearance, golden eyes, and long white hair. Handsome, who are you? Do you want to date? He gave me a flick on the forehead. Still playing the fool? I pushed him away, the expression on my face turning dark. Xiaobai, I'm dying. He nodded, staring at me intently. I know. Back at the Spirit Beast Garden, my senior brothers and sisters had piled up gifts everywhere. There were 9-leaf lotuses from the South Sea, 10,000-year bamboo from the Biyuan Abyss, and even some wooden horses I played with as a child, as well as windmills. Senior brother Chu stood at the front, patting my head. Junior sister, this is a small token of our affection. We hope you can be a bit happier. From now on, for every birthday you have, we will all prepare gifts for you. Sigh. 1 more year passed is 1 less remaining. My face twitched slightly. Senior brother, are you sending me off to my grave? You guys aren't being very generous either. Senior brother Chu, don't you have a 10,000-year glue pearl? And senior sister He, what about that piece of lightning-struck wood? They instantly scattered like birds and beasts. Junior sister Xian, I just remembered I have a class I haven't finished. Xiaobai used his claws to sift through the pile of things twice, then transformed back into his human form, his face full of disdain. A bunch of mundane trash. I glared at him and carefully put everything away one by one. Jinhua sect was only considered mid-tier among the many sects. For my senior brothers and sisters to bring these out, they must have completed many missions to obtain them. Then what did you prepare? Just a sharp tongue? As soon as I finished speaking, a spirit collar suddenly appeared around my neck. It was pure white like jade, shimmering with a faint golden light. Scrap I picked up on the road. If you don't like it, throw it away. Tomorrow I need to head out to handle some matters. And in the future, when you drug people, don't keep messing with the stove and disturbing people's dreams. My hand, which was happily touching the bone ring, suddenly froze. Where are you going? To find some things. Time passed as I raised the spirit beasts. Litter after litter was born, and crop after crop of spirit grass bloomed. Xiaobai was gone for 10 years. The cultivation world was in turmoil. Jinhua sect had already survived several attempts at annihilation. They were removed from the records. The senior brothers and sisters who once lamented my short lifespan had actually passed away before me. I spent my days like a useless person, staying in the garden protected by over a dozen layers of formations. But not a single person looked down on me, and I never heard any sarcastic remarks. Junior sister Xian, don't wander around. What snacks do you want? Your senior brother will bring them back for you. The one speaking was senior brother Lin. He was missing a leg, wobbling as he sat on his flying sword. I frowned and said, Senior brother, now that you're missing a leg, can you get a discount on pants since they use less fabric? Senior brother, on his flying sword, chased me all over the mountain in a fit of rage. The spirit beasts were also fluttering about in a mess. Suddenly, a powerful voice transmission echoed through the night. Where is Xiao Wushan? I've come to the spirit beast garden to claim something. Xiao Wushan was the name of our Jinghua sect master. The entire sect was instantly on high alert. Senior brothers and sisters, go to your battle positions. When senior brother left, he mentioned. They didn't collect money. The small town below the mountain was under Jinghua sect's protection. Ever since my leg was broken. They refused to take any more money. Senior brotherly. This is your lifebound flying sword. The spirit beast sect had come with ill intent. Little Ran, protect yourself from now on. Before long, at the sect entrance, the sounds of spells and clashing weapons erupted. Some wounded senior brothers and sisters were sent back, until more and more injured people were carried in. I clutched my hair, asking a senior sister with a sob. What exactly does the Lingsho sect want? Give it to them, give it to them. Her eyes were full of pity. She raised a blood-covered arm. Junior sister, don't be afraid. As soon as the supreme elders come out of seclusion. Before she could finish, the life left her eyes. I pounded hard on the area where my dantian should be. Sobbing, why don't I have spiritual roots? Why must a waste like me be protected by you all? 16 chimes of the bell echoed through the sect. I looked toward the sect entrance. My face filled with desolation. I avoided the bronze gates and rushed to the entrance on foot. At the very front of the Lingsho sect, a massive brute was speaking. Xiao Wushan, for the sake of a waste, without spiritual roots, you'd risk the supreme elders and even Jinghua sect's legacy? Is it worth it? My blood ran cold. In the entire Jinghua sect, I was the only one without spiritual roots. The sect master's voice was firm and powerful. Since you entered my sect, you are a member of Jinghua sect. If we traded her life for our own, then our Jinghua sect might as well be wiped out right here. I stumbled toward the edge of the formation. I will leave, trading my worthless life for a chance at their survival. That's a bargain. Having stayed in this sect for over 100 years, I hadn't spent that time completely in vain. Once a formation is set, as long as one possesses a spiritual tool, breaking it from the inside is quite easy. A crack appeared on the great mountain protecting array. I slipped out through the side, holding senior brother Lin's flying sword. I am Xian. If you want me alive, stop this instant. The senior brothers and sisters within the formation, the moment they saw me, all lost their composure. Junior sister, what are you doing? The sect master rushed to my side. Just as he reached out, the Lingsho sect master laughed several times. So you finally came out. I only need this girl's blood to feed my spirit beasts. She'll still live for another 10 years or so. Given her natural lifespan, it's not even a loss. Right after he finished laughing, a green light struck down from above him. This spiritual energy fluctuation was Elder Mu, so that was his actual spirit manifestation. Elder Mu inside the sect suddenly vanished, leaving only a tree branch behind. Just like how his manifestation used to tease me before. It turned out the one who had been by my side wasn't a manifestation. It was his main body. Suddenly, a transmission exploded in my mind. Girl, I brought you up the mountain, so I must ensure your safety. If things go wrong, just crying is fine. Just remember not to cry for too long. It's very noisy. While the Lingsho sect master was stunned, the sect master had already pulled me back into the formation. All disciples held their spiritual weapons, ready for a final stand. Tension was at a breaking point. I've long heard that your Jinghua sect's guardian divine beast has gone missing. Since that's the case, I can only disturb our Lingsho sect's ancestor. Ancestor Tao Tai, please show yourself. A moment later, a Tao Tai that blotted out the sun appeared in midair. Its powerful pressure made it hard for everyone to breathe. With one stomp, the Wushan Great Array crumbled completely. My senior brothers and sisters' faces were filled with grief, until several white shadows sped across the horizon. The closer they got, the larger their bodies became. A white tiger flashed in front of the Tao Tai, followed by a claw striking the Tao Ye's head. Half of the Tao Ye's head was crushed by the blow. It whimpered as if begging for mercy. My face lit up with joy. Xiaobai, you're back. That white tiger turned its head and glanced at me. Who's Xiaobai? Eldest, second, third. Come recognize these people. Disciples of Jinghua sect are not for eating, got it? Understood, mother. Several white tigers nodded in response. I was stunned. She's the mother? Then where is Xiaobai? The sect master was the first to kneel. Is it the father? Thank you, ancestor, for saving the sect from this crisis. Where have you been all this time? The white tiger raised an eyebrow and transformed into the form of a woman. Don't call me a divine beast. I'm just a white tiger who's lived a bit longer. This time out was to find their father. Speaking of which, it's strange. In these past 1,000 years, I and their deadbeat dad have tried a few times. But it wasn't until over 100 years ago that something happened. And I had 3 in 1 litter. The sect master coughed twice in embarrassment. Ancestor, Please mind your manners. Mind your manners. Manners my foot. Where is that old ghost? Get out here. I craned my neck to look. And saw a giant pung peeking out from behind the mountain. A pung and a white tiger. Then what about Lin Yuan? I felt a sense of loss in my heart. I couldn't sleep. Where exactly did he go? I'm about to die soon. After the battle ended, I personally carved a tombstone for Elder Mu. Tomb of Elder Mu of Jingyue sect. Tomb of a bitter cultivator. Erected by his daughter, Xinyuan. The old man was so stubborn. Just because the village chief said, if you don't protect her, are you even human? He really gave his life to protect me. Don't be so stubborn in your next life. Pick a child with spiritual roots. At least when you die, they can use spells to leave an image of you. 5 years after Elder Mu's death, the sect's situation became increasingly difficult. The Lingshou sect spread the news of my innate spirit-raising body to the world. They even said I could revive ancient divine beasts. No matter what kind of sect it was. With an ancient divine beast, they could soar to greatness. Hunted by the entire cultivation world, Jingyue sect was finally destroyed. I, along with the sect master and about 20 senior disciples and elders, struggled to survive. From a sect of thousands, only these few were left. I didn't know what they were holding on for. I had had enough of this bitter life. I sold myself for a good price. And I sold them out too. When we were ambushed, the sect master's face was full of fury. Xinyuan. So you sneakily sent out letters. Just for this day? How dare you? He slapped me on the back, shoving me behind him. Run. The sect master's prayers were useless. But the promise from the high sect was. I traded myself for a promise, forcing the Qizong sect master to swear a heavenly vow. I was captured and imprisoned in a cave, but I wasn't mistreated. The Qizong sect master was even pleasant toward me. Until the day the Great Formation was activated. My fellow disciples, who were supposed to be thousands of miles away, were brought in chains. Before the blood array, they turned into blood mist flowing through the formation. The sect master resisted the longest. Before vanishing, he sent me a transmission. Ran girl, we are born in troubled times. None of this is your fault. If you can survive, do not hold on to a grudge. The Qizong sect master stroked his beard and smiled. Heavenly vows are full of loopholes. Only a mortal like you would believe in them. They're all dead. All of them are dead. I was dully pushed toward the center of the formation. Even in troubled times, if it weren't for me, I wonder if they could have lived for a few more years. Maybe if they were lucky, they could have lived until they died of old age. Senior brothers. Senior sisters. Yuan is coming to join you. After a long time, I reached the center of the array. But I still felt no pain. The Qizong sect master frowned. And then 2 ink-black blades flew toward me. A screeching sound rang out. And a barrier of light appeared around me. The bone ring on my neck emitted bursts of startling light. A flash of warmth crossed my heart. Xiaobai. Luckily you're not here. After saying that, I took off the bone ring and threw it aside. A chilling sensation rose from under my feet. Before I could turn into blood mist, a figure appeared in front of me. Lin Yuan held me as he sped out of the array. In a split second, many who wanted to speak turned into blood mist. So, Xiaobai, is this strong? But, why did you arrive so late? I pushed him away, and my body fell backward, fading into nothingness. I faintly heard Lin Yuan's panicked and helpless cry. No. The array was instantly dyed red with blood. A blinding white light rose from within the array, accompanied by an earth-shaking dragon's roar. It's been 100,000 years. And I've actually come back to life. As he spoke, my soul floated up and down in the air. The elders of Qizong looked like they had seen their savior. Great divine dragon. It was we who summoned you. Our sect master, in order to revive you, was harmed by this white tiger. We beg you to seek justice for us. Is that so? Then let this seat destroy this beast. Lin Yuan had no outlet for his overwhelming rage. He also transformed into a tiger god and roared. The originally imposing dragon turned its tail. Second brother. Second, damn you, give me back my sister-in-law. A dragon and a tiger wrestled in the sky for a long time, before finally descending. Looking at the unharmed Lin Yuan, the Qizong sect master, not fearing death, stepped forward, and asked again, Great divine dragon, why is he still alive? The response to him, idiots. You dare harm my sister-in-law, and then ask me to kill my younger brother? A Qizong disciple who had fallen nearby, having survived the blast, stuck his neck out and questioned, even if you are a divine dragon, we saved your life, so you should be grateful. Instead, you rage against my sect and side with this beast. The azure dragon laughed. You revived me. Did you really expect me to grow up happy and healthy? The disciple was stunned. Weren't you trying to use me to bring glory to Qizong? To make the cultivation world submit? The azure dragon snapped his fingers. Exactly. After saying that, another strike came down. This time, not even a trace of Qizong remained. Lin Yuan picked up the bone ring from the ground and cradled it in his hands. His voice trembled. As he said with restraint, "You are Anne, with this bone ring ground from my own spine. If you didn't want to die, even if the entire cultivation world combined their power, they couldn't have harmed you in the slightest." The azure dragon transformed into a 2-meter tall brute in green clothes and stood beside him, looking a bit at a loss. "Second brother, look at this mess. How about I try dying for a bit, to see if my sister-in-law can come back?" After saying that, he held a bead in his hand, ready to crush it. Lin Yuan stopped him. "Elder brother, there's no need. Yuan was just a mortal. Revival is hopeless. If your death could make her live, I would have beaten you to death just now." After saying that, Lin Yuan also took out a bead to crush. The two of them were at it, until an old man appeared. "Ran girl, I told you long ago if it rains outside, come back to the village. If it rains, come back to the village. But you just wouldn't. My old bones are exhausted from climbing this mountain. I'm practically dead from exhaustion." After saying that, he reached his hand forward, and my soul entered the bottle in his hand. He shook it twice and then poured me out. "Come over here. Village chief, who exactly are you?" I had once suspected the village chief wasn't ordinary, but I didn't expect him to be this extraordinary. Even for someone like Lin Yuan, a divine beast who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years, something impossible. He actually brought me back to life just by shaking a bottle. Before the village chief could speak, Lin Yuan pulled me tightly into his arms. "Xian, I'm staying with you until the end. How could you not want me anymore?" I pulled on the village chief's beard and asked for a long time, before I figured out that he was the heavenly Tao. For hundreds of thousands of years, divine beasts had withered, and the spirit beast race found it harder and harder to reproduce. The heavenly Tao likes balance above all else. Under his arrangement, I was born. Only then did the grand scene of spirit beasts, covering the land, come to be, but when I was pulling him, asking him to revive my fellow disciples and give me spiritual roots, he had already vanished. The old man is the heavenly Tao, not a wishing well. That day you gave me a longevity pill. Now the old man is returning you a few years of life. Reviving you has already defied the heavens. If you want anything else, go find your lover." "Lover?" Before I could open my mouth to speak to Lin Yuan, a 4-colored pill had already entered my mouth. "Don't talk. Circulate your spiritual energy." A surging wave of spiritual energy poured from my dantian. I had spiritual roots. So Lin Yuan being out for over 10 years was to help me condense spiritual roots. After several cycles of circulation, my body was already filled with incredibly abundant spiritual energy, and my realm was soaring like it was flying. The seals of a phoenix and a black tortoise appeared on my left and right hands. With a single thought, the phantoms of a small phoenix and a small black tortoise manifested. Lin Yuan looked at me and nodded. I pricked my finger and dropped 2 drops of blood. A phoenix's cry and a sound of snoring rang out. The 4 ancient divine beasts were all here. The 4 of them were cheerfully greeting each other. I looked on gloomily. "I would have been better off if you hadn't saved me back then." Lin Yuan patted my head. "Reviving a few people is just a simple matter." Ran was still sulking. With a wave of his hand, over 10,000 people suddenly appeared in the valley ahead. "Lin Yuan, if revival is so easy, then why didn't you just wait for me to die and revive me then? Why go through all the trouble to gather the power of the 4 divine beasts?" He took my hand and said very solemnly, "I've lived for too long. Everyone around me has died. The day I met you, I originally intended to give my essence, blood to that white tiger, and then go find my own death. But you held me, sobbing and saying you were afraid. When there was no sound outside, you still plucked up your courage to protect me. I thought I'd wait for you, a mortal, to grow old and die. And then I'd die too. But later, I didn't want that. Cultivating with an ordinary spiritual root only lets one live for 1,000 years. What I want is naturally not just 1,000 years. I want to be bound to you for millions of years." I looked at the people in the valley. My brow furrowed. "Lin Yuan, can you not count? Were there really this many people in Jingyue sect?" His face showed embarrassment. "I accidentally revived too many. The Lingzhou sect and Qizong, you don't want them, right?" After saying that, he brushed his sleeve. Half of the people in the valley instantly vanished. The reconstruction of Jingyue sect was very fast. But the date of my wedding with Lin Yuan was even faster. Almost as soon as the sect was established, Lin Yuan used the pretext of releasing hostages to make the sect master prepare for the marriage. The 4 divine beasts had gone out for a full month. On the day of the wedding, the entire sky and earth were covered with flying flowers. The cry of a phoenix came from outside the sect. Upon the back of the sun-obscuring phoenix was an exquisite and delicate carriage. I sat inside it, while Lin Yuan stood on the back of the azure dragon, dressed in a vibrant red wedding suit. The wedding rituals had only reached the gift-giving stage when Lin Yuan carried me off toward the heavens. Ran, don't you love these things the most? Over the past few months, I have searched the world for rare treasures, and the gifts brought by those guests. I've taken them all. I wonder if these betrothal gifts are sufficient? I pulled a white porcelain bowl from behind me. I wonder if this dowry is sufficient? It was the cat bowl Xiaobai had used for over 100 years. A letter accidentally tumbled out with it. The one about the meeting at the Crescent Moon platform. Xianyuan, just how many stray cats have you tucked into your bed? By the way, during this revival, that senior brother whose hand you once touched, I've rearranged his face. I'm certain he will be satisfied. My face flushed crimson, and I hooked my arms around his neck. Why bring up such irrelevant matters? I possess the innate nurturing sacred body. He was the only one I ever worshipped, and now I must offer myself as his shrine. For a full 15 days, he kept me confined in the sky. The clouds billowed and surged day after day. 200 years later, Ling Zhao was born. Ling Yuan and I crouched before him, eager to see what special traits he possessed. It wasn't until he was 16 that we realized. This brat, who was born with a love for animals, hadn't inherited a single shred of my nurturing talent. Everything he raised died. The spirit silkworms were fed the best cold night leaves, but they would just perish as he raised them. Even the mortal guinea fowls, which he sustained with immortal herbs, would suddenly drop dead one morning. Lin Yuan refused to believe in such luck, and found the hardiest water bears, creatures that could survive dehydration for a century. But the moment Ling Zhao touched them, they would just keel over and die. Not even Lin Yuan could revive them. I let out a long sigh. This is an innate nurturing malignant body. Son, stop thinking about raising small animals. Worry about yourself instead. Don't end up raising yourself into an early grave. Only then did he finally give up on the idea. 100 years later, he suddenly brought home a snow fox. He walked up to me with a mysterious air. Mother, I'm in love. I want to raise my wife myself, just like father raised you back then. Clearly, I was the one who raised your father bit by bit. And with your wretched luck, you want to raise a wife? Aren't you afraid of causing a catastrophe? The snow fox in his arms suddenly transformed into human form, and shot Ling Zhao a sharp glare. Ling Zhao lowered his head, turning into a small black cat, and obediently perched on the girl's shoulder. Master, please don't be angry. I'm the one who's raising him. I nodded with satisfaction. Now that's more like it. After Ling Zhao left, a white cat pawed at my hand and scratched my palm. A voice transmission echoed in my heart. Master, do you want to see if I'm a female cat or not?